Hello, everyone. It's really great to be here, and genuinely, wow, this is outstanding. Thank you to the team at TCC for creating this opportunity for us all to come together. Members of the jury, my talk today is really about redefining the physical store as a super app. But actually, what I'm here to talk about are some of the industry trends and tropes that we've been discussing so far this morning. I think it's fair to say that over the last quarter of a century, the global consumer has never been as challenged as consistently as they are today. And I include in this the Great Recession of 07, 08. Whether it's inflation, armed conflict, environmental and social concerns, cost of living increases, or political unrest, consumer purchasing power has taken an absolute beating. For example, our friends at KPMG, they call out that consumers are cutting essential spending like never before. We don't eat out as much as we used to, and that we're all starting to shift towards own-branded goods and away from CPGs and FMCGs. And at the same time, it's not just consumer purchasing power that's being impacted. Consumerism itself is changing. Consumers tell us really consistently that experience is as important as the products and services that they can access in retail. They expect innovative tools to connect them to stores and experiences, to create better experiences. And they expect curated experiences serving their individual needs. Hyper-personalization, hyper-loyal. And then there are some real changes happening as far as generations are concerned. Think about the path to purchase. Awareness, consideration, and ultimately decision-making. Those generations, let's think about baby boomers. Probably the most conservative generation still alive today. They enjoy a much slower path to purchase. We have Gen X, that's my generation, the best generation that's ever existed. We straddle analog and digital in ways that baby boomers never did. We could talk about millennials, or what I like to call them as the Tinder generation. They swipe left. They swipe right. That's how they make their decisions. Or there's Gen Alpha. Now that's my children. This will be the consumer group with the shortest attention span of any consumer group that has ever lived. 5 seconds. They're the TikTok generation. So do we believe that when we think about stores that search, discovery, inspiration remains the same for all of these different generations? Members of the jury, I'd argue that's not the case. And yet the physical store, when we walk a grocery store, it doesn't flex and change to address the way that my kids or my parents choose to shop. This is a really big challenge, and we think it leads to something that's very profound in store. And this is a very well documented phenomenon. Other presenters here who are smarter than me could speak more eloquently about it. But it's the paradox of choice. Quite simply, the phenomenon where too many choices, if they are presented to consumers, it makes it harder for them to make decisions. And we all face this every day in our buying journeys. Again, if you'd indulge me, a little social experiment amongst us as friends. Could everybody in the audience choose their favorite training shoe? Is it white or is it red? This is really easy. This is a choice for the Tinder generation. And for the avoidance of doubt, I'm not sponsored by Nike, despite my best efforts. So this is swipe left, swipe right, white or red. Like, dislike, purchase. Now could you make a decision? What's your favorite training shoe? Is it the same? I gravitate back to the white shoe in the first slide, but everybody will now have a different preference. And now we're confronted with too much choice. We don't really feel as though we're in so much control as a consumer. The paradox of choice is real. Some of us gravitate back to the original shoe, others face real problems making that decision. I should also reflect on the audience here. You're all grocers. So it applies to donuts as well. But what's your favorite donut? But imagine if we can manage the paradox of choice, creating multiple points of inspiration in store that serve different generations and different ability as far as awareness, consideration, and decision-making is concerned. What if it's all a bit easier than we think? Eobuwie in Poland, a really great example. Their efforts to manage choice, appeal to shoppers, differing approaches to discovery and so on, has been quite profound. This was an online, pure-play digital company who are now in the process of building physical stores that are completely digitally augmented, what we term as a phygital store. They now have more than 50 of these built in Poland alone. This is a store where all of the different digital surfaces are connected, where you can shop, whether it's an app, a kiosk, or even from the digital signage itself, where the items most frequently searched for on a kiosk or an endless aisle is presented on all of the digital screens through all of the store, or even at the storefront. Displayed products are sensational. They give us sensational results, typically showing growth of up to 300% for that product hero. I'm not sponsored by Nike, so if it was an Adidas shoe, 300% sales growth on that particular shoe, and then the halo effect for the Adidas brand shows double-digit growth across all of their range. It's really quite stark and profound. Ultimately, when we get it right, sales increase, revenue increases, and consumer convenience, loyalty increases. Because ultimately what we realize, and this is no secret sauce, I'm sure everybody in this room will recognize it, we as consumers want less friction. What do we all want? We want personalization, hyper-personalization, control of our journey from start to finish, curated inspiration and discovery. Products that I want to buy. I'm a red wine guy. Digital signage in store, media in store should not be promoting white wine to me. I'm never going to buy it. It's wasted ad spend. I want simplified checkout, this idea that I can check out from any digital surface. And I want things like streamlined returns. Again, this wonderful grocery audience, please don't let me hear unexpected item in the bagging area ever again. So a good example of less friction would be Amazon. Let's be clear, Amazon remains a huge threat to everybody in this room. But they're really awesome at what they do. So this question, what's the number one reason that shoppers buy from Amazon? Let's have a think. Do you think it's price? Is it assortment, range, environmental or social concerns? Great reasons to buy on Amazon. No. What shoppers tell us is the number one reason that they buy from Amazon is convenience. And think about what convenience means for Amazon. When I arrive on the site, I am default checked in. I am a known shopper the moment I arrive on that site. What does that mean? From inception of my journey, I get membership benefits and personalization. They remember my purchases and my search history. They're not advertising things that I won't buy. They're advertising things that I am likely to buy. And then I get great one-click buying, returns, simple order tracking. It's so convenient. Even consumers that are tired of the Amazonification of the world, me, my kids, we gravitate back to Amazon because it's so easy. And now their range extends. I can buy CPG brands from Amazon. I can buy grocery. I can buy health and beauty. This is direct threat to everybody in this room, their ability to put all of that content, all of those products in front of mass consumers. Competition's hard. So Amazon's just one example, but competitive threats come thick and fast. At the end of 07, 08, that financial crisis, it was the hard discounters that did an awesome job of growing in non-domestic markets. But now it's so much more complicated even than that. We could talk about platform giants, Amazon, Shopify, pure play online companies, I don't know, Ocado, or digital players like Temu and Shein who are growing at a vast rate. Social non-retailers, TikTok, Meta, or D2C startups, someone like Dollar Shave Club, or perhaps even e-farms and gorillas, dark store operators. But Nanovo is really clear here. We think there are going to be winners and losers as retail competes with all of these different areas. So the winners need to embrace the change. You guys all know that the store is a key asset. We just think that we need to amplify experiential retail, combine all of those online and offline shopping journeys, not siloed but seamless, allowing us to maximize the value of each customer interaction, not just from a revenue perspective, but from a loyalty perspective, and ultimately, some of the reasons that we're here today, accessing startup innovation. Build quickly, innovate fast, be prepared to fail fast as well, and ultimately collaborate for scale. So if we get all this together, do we reframe the entire store? What if the entire store becomes a point of experience? Let's face it, we all crave physical experiences. An example might be Apple. Perhaps the most impactful digital company over the last 15 to 20 years, pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into their physical store estate, recognizing we want tactile physical experiences. If anyone here has watched the latest Dune movie, I hope you saw it in a Cinema City or Cineworld IMAX screen rather than looking at your 6-inch screen on your phone. This is all about experience discovery and something that's really impactful, physical. A store where point of experience is everything, is one in which every surface, digital or physical, can be augmented with highly curated, personalized content. In short, reframing the store as a super app. The super app store connects bricks and mortar. We blend true omni-channel digital services into something that can be explored, not at the end of the journey, but from the very moment the customer steps in. And we do this by building on existing technology trends that your technology teams are working on. Headless commerce, next generation loyalty and CRM, content creation platforms that deliver targeted content that can be tailored to specific events, AI, machine learning, with endpoints or surfaces, harmoniously orchestrated so that they can be navigated as seamlessly as an app. So what are these surfaces? It's point of sale, kiosks, storefront, apps, endless aisle, signage, everything connected and seamless and content orchestrated. I would also suggest to you that if we can build the store as a super app, we can actually go one stage further and really push the boundaries. What if check-in is the new checkout? What do I mean by that? Take my example of Amazon where I'm default checked in. The moment I arrive, I get personalization and membership benefits. What happens in a grocery store today? I scan my loyalty card at the end of the transaction. A checked-in customer allows us to get right into personalization, much more control of their journey, understanding individual inspiration and discovery, no lines, all of those good things. And this is all really hard to achieve if your customer checks in or checks out at the end of the journey. Because aren't we missing so much? We miss 99% of store activity when loyalty is scanned at checkout. We're missing the opportunity to directly affect path to purchase, and I think we're missing the opportunity to create personalized content and smart media really focused on the consumer. I think ultimately check-in also means that there's a higher net promoter score, not just for the shopper, but the real customer in retail media, which is the CPG brand. Ad spend won't be wasted on shoppers that have no buying intent, my red wine or white wine example. We think there's much clearer attribution with a checked-in customer and much clearer monetization. What does it mean? Happier customers. That's what we all love. Happier retailers, more revenue for you guys, more wallet share, and happier CPGs, better results. And we know that check-in is possible. So take Żabka Nano. For those that don't know, Żabka is a large convenience chain in Poland with more than 10,000 stores. About 50 of them are autonomous stores. To enter the store, the consumer must check into the store by scanning a credit card, a virtual wallet, a QR code generated from the Żabka app. They are just examples of the way that Żabka have done it, but there's lots of other ways that we could get the consumer to check into the store. And entering the store, they're default checked in. The signage on the storefront greets them, data can be validated against their loyalty, and content in the store can be curated for them. That could be the storefront, it could be the signs, it could be the ESL, it could be the shelf edge itself. So there's a lot more to come from our partnership in Żabka, but the future's really exciting as far as Żabka Nano is concerned. It's probably worth saying Żabka is an anomaly right now in the industry. There aren't a huge number of autonomous stores. And ultimately, getting the customer to change their behavior is, we all know, it's really hard to get the consumer to change. So check-in could be through multiple different ways. Some simple things. Scan a QR code. It might be a beacon or geofencing the front of the store. So when I've got my Tesco app, it pops up and says, hey Dom, would you like to check into the store for your curated experience of offers? It might be augmented reality, gamification. It might be a tap of the loyalty card on entrance. To drive this adoption curve, we simply need to communicate with the consumer. Why check-in so good? Offers, discounts, points, promotions, fun gamified experiences. And from the moment the customer starts their journey, that inception of their shopping journey, we start to generate zero-party data straight from them. Walk the store, curate content on surfaces, personalized offers, ultimately improving brand connection. And as I mentioned, we believe that the ad spend of CPGs will be much better with far greater results. So, to conclude, I think we touched on the consumer being really impacted and the challenges that they have. Competition means that for Nanovo, we believe that the store should be an entire point of experience with all surfaces connected, and they should operate and be navigated as intuitively as an app. If the store becomes an app, check-in should be the new checkout, and that the future is really highly personalized and highly curated. Because if we get it right, if we build personalization into the journeys from inception, if we understand all of the data points, we move from this back to this. That's it. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the show.